Hello everybody, in this video we're going to be making a flashlight that can turn on and off for your Unity projects. So to do this we're going to go to the Unity Hub, I'm using 2.2.2. You're going to click on, in your projects tab you're going to click on new, and once it loads you're going to click on 2D or 3D. I'm going to be using 3D. And you're going to name your project what you want and click create. So as you can see, I have just a blank scene with just a player in it, but this player can also move. I put the camera underneath him, so when it shows where he's looking, as you can see. Camera projects over here, but the person can turn and walk around and stuff. If you want a video showing how to do that, definitely let me know. And I've also added a jump button using space. So first thing we need to do to make a flashlight is under our cylinder, that's our player for now. I'm just going to go into play mode right now and show you what the scene is right now. So as you can see, it's a bit laggy right now, but I can just move around, jump, stuff like that, look around, and there's my shadow. It's just a cylinder, but okay, so under our cylinder we're going to create a 3D object and we'll make it a capsule. Capsule is like a almost like a cylinder, but it's more rounded. So as you can see, our main camera projects this way. So we're gonna it's gonna be like a poorly looking. It's gonna be a poorly made flashlight, but it's going to work, and that's what matters right now. So we're going to scale this down to something like 0.3. Okay, and then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. If we rotate it on the Z-axis, it flips around, as you can see. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do now is on our capsule, we're going to change the name to flashlight. And we've got a bunch of properties here. You don't need to worry about any of those. Except maybe turn off the capsule collider. We don't really want it to be colliding with anything. So you're going to right click on the flashlight and you're going to click on light and spotlight. So what this is going to do is going to create a circle spotlight, and this is what the flashlight looks like. It gets smaller in the radius, but then slowly gets bigger. So what we're going to do is we want to turn this flashlight 90 degrees. That's the wrong way. This way. Okay. Now, if we go over here, click on our spotlight, the flashlight is going to get bigger, as you can see. So I think it should be good. Let's go into Unity, see what happens. Okay guys, I finally fixed the problem. Basically what I did wrong was I put the flashlight under the cylinder. It should be under the main camera because the flashlight wants to follow you wherever you look, basically. So make sure you have a spotlight on there, and you can play with the settings a bit if you want to make it a farther range. I'm just going to keep it at 10, and it could have a bigger angle, but I'm just going to keep it default. And the color is going to stay white so it can light things up, basically. So if we go into our scene and we go down, you can see the light is going to be working, and just fine. It's going to light up our stuff, and it'll be even better if we go into directional light and change the color to a bit darker. And I think that'll change some stuff up. Yes, as you can see, it now works a lot better. You can see it lights up. So if you, the flashlight's kind of dark now, but you can play around with that setting, and I think it looks good for now. But something that we want to do is, if you go under Spotlight, you can see this light. We want to, every time we press a button, we want the light to turn off. But every time we press that button again, we want it to turn back on. So if we add a script to our, I don't know why it says flash battery. I must have typed something earlier. But if we go into our add component or Spotlight and we click on add component, we can type in a name for our script. So if we say flash script, let's just call it that. Then we click on new script, you'll see the name here again, and we click create and add. So what it's going to do is it's going to compile. As this loading bar in the bottom right here, you can see it means it's compiling. So if we wait for that, we're going to be turning our flashlight off and on. Alright, so it's done compiling now. You don't have to worry about these. But the flash script comes up, and if we double click on this, it's going to open up in Visual Studio. Visual Studio is where we do our coding in Unity. If you don't have it downloaded, I'm pretty sure it comes with Unity, so I think you should. I'd go 2019, it's more updated. They're going to keep updating that, obviously, because they don't have a 2021 out yet. Okay, so you can see that we're in Visual Studio right now. This is where we're going to be doing all our coding. You don't have to worry about any of the top, any of the stuff at the top, but you just have to worry about these voids start and update. Now, start is going to be called every, like it says up here, before the first frame update. This is going to be happen at the very start of our game, so we're not going to be doing too much in here when you're coding, but it's mainly this update function. You can also create your own function, and that'll work just fine. So up at the top, you're going to go down a bit, and you're going to type in public light, like it says up there. And this is where you can call your variable anything you want. So we're going to call it light flash. If you're wondering why I typed it like that, that's just the standard coding typing, I guess you could say. You don't have to do it like that, but that's how everyone else does it, so I do it that way. That's pretty much all I can say. So you have to put, if you're doing 2 words, you can put lowercase first and then uppercase. It's just how it works. And the light is basically what we did there. So the light that we put in our code is basically this object right here, and we want to turn it off and on. So if we go back into Visual Studio, we're making a public code so we can see it in Unity. We can change the value in Unity without going back into our code. This is called a variable, and it's used as like a, if you think of it as like a drawer, it's used of storing like methods and stuff like that. So in our update function, this is where we're going to say what button we're going to press. This is how we turn our flashlight on and off. So this is what you have to do. This is called an if statement. So we're going to say if. Sometimes in math or science, you use this. You say like if and then. So if something happens, then this will happen. So that's what we're going to do through code. So if we say if, and you're going to put parentheses like that, and then you're going to do curly brackets like that. Unity auto completes those two things. So after you do that, it's going to auto complete the parentheses and auto complete the curly brackets after you press the first one. So then you're going to press enter when you are like that, and now it's going to give you your function. This is what it should look like. A function is basically the void update, and if is going to make an if function like that anytime there's curly brackets. So now we need to say if you press a certain button. So we're going to say input dot get key, and we're going to say there's three different kinds. If you want to say get key down, this is the only time when you, like, as soon as you press the key. Get key can be like holding it in, so that can be used for like holding a fire button in or something like that. And we're going to add another parenthesis like that. And you want to make sure you close off your parentheses. See, I have one opening and a second opening. Then I have two closing right here. That means it closed off the parentheses. So we're going to say input.get key down. And as you can see, it tells us what we need to say. Key code and then key. This key represents what key we want to press. So we're going to say key code dot. And you can see there's a list of buttons that you want to do. There's joysticks and stuff like that for controllers. But since this is going to be out for PC, we're going to choose a PC button. Whether it's Mac or Linux or Windows, like I'm using right now. So we're going to make it... so if we look for mouse 0, mouse 0 is, as you can see right there, it says the left or primary mouse button. If you want to do that, you can do that, or you can type in, you can type in something like F, and that'll, when you press the F button. We're just going to try mouse 0. Okay, so now all this is saying is if the Unity gets its input with a certain key, and that key is the mouse 0. Unity uses zeros before ones anytime you're doing numbers. So yeah, that means the mouse 0 is the first button in your mouse, on your mouse. Okay, so now we want to say we want to turn the light off, basically. So up here we used our light flash. We got that light variable inside Unity. So now we can type in light flash, and here we can enable or disable our light. So we're going to say dot enabled equals false. And anytime you end one of these, you're going to make sure you use a semicolon right here. Oh geez, I need to plug in my computer. Anytime you I lost my train of thought. Anytime you end something like this, you're going to use a semicolon, but if it's a function like this, you're not going to do that. See, there's parentheses right here, you're not going to do that. So if you press the mouse 1, then it's going to turn the light off. Now we want to say if you press it again, then it turns the light on. But we can't just say if input.get key down, keycode.mouse 0 again, because then if we do that, then Unity doesn't know whether we're talking about the first function or the second function. So what we're going to do is type in else, and then give you your curly brackets and hit enter. You don't need the parentheses for this one. Else is a way to say if this happens, then if you press a key, right, and something happens because of it, then else is a way to say, but if anything else that happens. So, that might have been a bad explanation, but I'll explain it in a second better. Light flash dot enabled is equal to true. Okay, so this is saying if you're pressing the mouse one, then at the start, then it's going to turn it off. But if you're not anything besides that, it's going to turn it true. So if we save this by pressing Control S, go back into Unity. If we wait for it to compile, you're going to see a light flash says none light. That means Unity doesn't know what light to turn off and turn on. So if we click on our spotlight here and drag it in this spot, it's going to add the spotlight. Okay guys, so I have fixed the problem that I was having. So basically I changed the key to pressing F. You don't have to do that, but I just think it'd be better. So what I did was instead of having this right away, I added another if function and said if the light is enabled, then the light is not enabled basically. And this else refers to, like, compares this if statement. So compares the top part of this if statement. So it's saying if the light is on, then it's going to turn the light off. But the else compares the light being on. So this would say if it's not on, then the light is on. So if we save that and go back into Unity, and hit play, you will see that now we can look around and it lights up our scene. We still have our thing here. I'm going to make it brighter in a second. But when I press F, it turns it off, and it does not work. And then when I press F again, it turns it on. So, yeah, I think that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you want to see more, do let me know. This is going to be on my new channel, Coding with Apo. And, yeah, I think that's all there is to say. I'll be doing more tutorials. It'll vary, but everything will be with Unity. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I'll see you guys in the next video.